It's a well-known fact that different plants like different soils, and that not all plants are created equally. But how can you tell what kind of soil you have? It's a lot easier than you might think. Use the mason jar test. First, grab yourself a BOJ. That's a big old jar. The bigger the better in this case. The only requirement is that the jar needs to have straight sides. Next, get some soil from your backyard. It's best to dig straight down at least 6 inches to get an accurate picture of what you have. It's a good idea to sift your soil with a strainer. Take this time to remove any larger rocks, roots, or other organic matter you find. Breaking up your soil like this will also help your soil dissolve faster and yield a more accurate soil profile. Fill your jar a third of the way up with your sifted soil, and then fill your jar with water, almost to the top, leaving a small gap for air. Violently shake your jar for about 3 minutes, and then set your jar and don't touch it. Wait 60 seconds, and with a marker, mark the level the sediment has settled. This is your sand layer. And then leave. Don't move the jar, don't even look at the jar. Come back 2 hours later and mark the level on the jar. This is your silt layer, and then leave again. Completely forget about the jar for 2 days, come back and mark the final level. This is your clay layer. Now comes the boring part, math. The goal is to find the percentage that each layer makes up. Use a ruler to record the height of each layer, divide it by the total height, and multiply by 100 to get a percentage for each layer. Pause this screen if you need to. The soil texture triangle is in increments of 10. Surround your answers accordingly. Plot your percentages on the USDA soil texture triangle to see where your soil lies. I'll put the link in the description for easy access. Where the lines intersect tell you what kind of soil you have. Our soil ended up being on the border between sandy loam and sandy clay loam, but since the water was still pretty cloudy, we can assume that there was still some clay that still needed to settle when we took our measurements. So we can shift the clay reading just a little bit higher, moving us well into the sandy clay loam category. The results of this test are not the end-all be-all of what you have. There are plenty of things you can do to move categories. You can add sand or compost to help balance out your garden. What kind of soil did you end up having? If you like what you saw, why not consider subscribing, hit the notification icon to stay up to date on when I post. If you change your mind, you can always unsubscribe later. But until next time, bye.